The disappearance of Claire Whitman. In the quiet town of Hartwell, Oregon, population 2,304, nothing much ever happened. It was the kind of place where neighbors left their doors unlocked, and gossip traveled faster than the local high school football scores. So when Claire Whitman, 34, a beloved ER nurse at Hartwell Regional Hospital, vanished on a crisp October evening, the town froze in collective disbelief. Claire was last seen leaving her night shift at 11:47 p.m. Security footage showed her walking toward her forest green Subaru Outback in the hospital parking lot. She looked tired, but not distressed. Then, nothing. The car was found 2 days later, abandoned near an old logging road, the doors locked, her keys and phone still inside. At first, investigators believed she might have been abducted. Perhaps a drifter had passed through town. That theory fit the narrative Hartwell wanted to believe, that this tragedy came from the outside. But Hartwell's tranquility was an illusion, and as detectives began peeling back the layers of Claire's life, what they uncovered would fracture the town's sense of innocence forever. Claire was the town's sweetheart. She cared for her patients with a tenderness that couldn't be taught. After her shift, she often volunteered at the senior center or baked muffins for the children's cancer ward. But those who were closest to her, few though they were, described a woman with a quiet melancholy beneath her smile. Detectives questioned Claire's boyfriend, Danny Kessler, a local paramedic. He claimed he'd last spoken to Claire that afternoon about dinner plans. His alibi checked out, confirmed by co-workers and security cameras. But Claire's phone revealed something strange. In the weeks before she disappeared, she had begun making frequent calls to a number registered under the name E. Talmadge, a name no one in Hartwell recognized. The calls intensified the week of her disappearance. And then there was a journal, found hidden in her apartment, where Claire wrote of a deep betrayal, someone she had trusted who had cut deeper than anyone else ever could. E. Talmadge turned out to be Eleanor Talmadge, a former patient, a woman who died in Claire's care 3 years earlier. The number was actually a burner phone. The trail seemed to go cold until the burner was linked to a prepaid credit card, which was used to purchase groceries in the next town over. Security footage from the grocery store showed the unlikeliest of people. Dr. Patrick Ellison, Hartwell Regional's chief of surgery. Dr. Ellison was respected, nearly revered. A man in his late 50s, charming in a clinical sort of way. He was a mentor to many, including Claire. When questioned, Ellison claimed the phone had nothing to do with him. He insisted he'd lost a card months earlier. But forensic analysis told a different story. DNA from the envelope that had contained the SIM card matched his. Claire, it turned out, had been investigating Eleanor Talmadge's death herself. Talmadge had died during a routine appendectomy, a surgery Ellison had performed. The death was ruled a complication from anesthesia. But Claire had suspected negligence, or worse, a deliberate cover-up. Talmadge's daughter had contacted Claire, sharing that her mother had been planning to sue the hospital. In the weeks before her disappearance, Claire had filed a formal complaint to the Oregon State Medical Board, citing potential misconduct. She told no one, not even Danny. The complaint had been dismissed for insufficient evidence. Claire wasn't willing to let it go. Her journal detailed clandestine meetings with someone who had information, someone who'd told her to keep it quiet. She named him only as P.E. It was a hunter who found her. 11 days after she vanished, Claire's body was discovered in a shallow grave near the Cascade foothills, just miles from where her car had been left. The autopsy revealed she'd been struck on the head and then asphyxiated. There were defensive wounds on her hands. Kneed with the evidence, Ellison eventually confessed, though his account twisted the knife even further. He claimed it had been an accident, a confrontation gone too far. Claire had threatened to go public. He met her to dissuade her, but when she pressed him, things escalated. But investigators weren't satisfied. A forensic sweep of Claire's emails revealed something shocking. In her draft folder was an unsent message to the state attorney general. Attached were files she had managed to copy from the hospital server. Files that implicated not only Ellison but also another staff member. The files suggested that Claire had uncovered a ring of falsified surgical outcomes. Patients were being harmed, deaths covered up, and insurance fraud was rampant. And the other staff member involved? Danny Kessler, her boyfriend. Claire had discovered the truth just days before her disappearance. Her final journal entry was haunting. "I don't know who I can trust anymore. If I disappear, tell them to look close. Closer than anyone ever dared. Epilogue. After the storm. Ellison was convicted of second-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison. Danny was never charged. The case against him lacked direct evidence, and he denied involvement. He eventually left Hartwell, vanishing into the anonymity of a bigger city. But to this day, townsfolk whisper his name when autumn nights grow long and the air grows cold. Hartwell changed after Claire. The hospital faced multiple lawsuits, and the administration was gutted. A bench with her name sits outside the ER, adorned with fresh flowers every October 19th. Claire Whitman had tried to speak the truth, and though it cost her everything, in the end, she was heard. And Hartwell, it was never the same again.